How's it going, guys? I'm back. I've been on a few months hiatus. Kind of took a little break, getting a little YouTube burned out, we'll call it. And, I was just kind of sitting around, working on the house, doing this, doing that, thinking I need to make another video. It's time to make another video. Not a BMW video for many reasons, but a Porsche video, and today's the day. So, I have some exciting news for you guys. The market is shifting a little bit. A lot of the car values are coming down of all brands, right? Porsche's barely dipped a little bit. You see 996 got quite a bit cheaper all of a sudden. A lot of 987 stuff still is high. You can find a little better deals at the minute. There for a while, everything was $30,000 that was worth having. And now you start seeing stuff in the 20s. You could buy a burnout one of these for about, 19. A really bad one for 18 with tan interior and no options. But they are really, really good cars. Now, that also goes for, we see cheaper 991 prices. We see cheaper everything just a little bit. Everything slumped just a hair. I think over the next few months, it'll continue to slump a little bit. But man, Porsche stuff over the years, it's pretty solid. But I think right now is the time to start looking if you're in the market. The only thing that sucks about these cars, if you have kids, it is tough. And then you're trying to be forced to buy a Panamera or a Cayenne or Macan. Macan probably the better of those three choices. But, man, the Panamera and Cayennes are just horrible with the V8 stuff. I mean, it just is not what you want in a Porsche. They should have made the Panamera with this engine or with a flat six. That's what should have been done. But they went to the V8 and it was just a big-ass mess. So I don't know. I've been kind of rolling through stuff through Facebook Marketplace a little bit, just trying to figure out what are we going to do next here. We got a lot of the cars done here. The red car's been sent back. Dwayne's car is done. We're down to just only my white M5 and the Figaro, and the Figaro is apart right now, waiting for the machine shop to call me and say, okay, stuff's done. So I'm kind of looking, thinking, what's the next move? Will it be a 997? Will it be a 991? And we looked all through the GT4 RS. I was watching videos on that. And it looked like when they were new, they're like 150, 155, somewhere in there. And I thought, okay, by all normal logic, I should be able to find one of those for around 100, right? Right? No, they're all 300,000 and 400,000. So although that would be cool, but to go from a full track pack 987 to that, it's a little bit better, but it's not like hundreds of thousands of dollars better. And that's where you're running the issue. And you can also buy a newer gen 981 came in for, I don't know, about the same price it came one of these. So a 981 or 987 came in, brings about, a good one's in the low to mid 30s, which is also the same price as the 981. I don't understand why that is. We see that with BMW stuff a lot too. Different makes and models overlapping other ones. You see that with BMW with E90 and F30. They're kind of overlapped on the price. It's kind of the same. Just kind of depends on what you're into, really. And, a lot of people say the 987 is the last driver's car, that a lot of the newer cars being four-cylinder turbo are just not the same thing. And until you get to GT cars, you don't get the flat six-pack in those. And, you see a lot of guys selling newer Caymans, or they're on the forums, want more power. It's cool, but wants more power. So our Cayman here is set up on E85, full E85. Aftermarket exhaust, Borla exhaust, catless Borla exhaust. It has the air filter, was a BMC air filter. There's no tune. So we're probably around, by the numbers the internet says, we're probably around 350, somewhere around there, horsepower. A lot of guys with a tune with the 85 were getting up around 380 on some of these cars. That don't sound like a lot of power, and anybody, with V8 says, oh, that's nothing. But this thing is literally the size of a Mazda Miata. with 200 more, over 200 more horsepower. So it's pretty aggressive. Never once I think, yeah, you know, we need more power. We put on E85 because E85 I could buy locally, and it's way cheaper. These cars will run E85 without any mods. When it gets a little cooler outside, it will trip the check engine light on cold start, and you reset it, and that's it. If it's warm, like today, it's 75 degrees outside, it won't trip it at all. And, you know, that's the way it is. We'll probably do some kind of tune to it. We just haven't got that far with it yet. This car's been doing really good. We replaced that one coffin arm on it. Absolutely zero problem since then. I went and did the brakes and stuff at the same time we did that, just to make sure, and you guys need to be doing the same thing, just to make sure nothing goes wrong. Just kind of looking at the car, listening to the car when you drive it. Don't just drive every time with the radio cranked way up and you can't hear anything. This car, when we first got it, had 79,000 miles. We're probably at 84 and some change right now. The closer we get to 100K, we're gonna have to do all the coolant lines. It's probably $1,000. I don't know, probably $800. But like everything else to do here, we'll just do it all in one swipe. That way the car never breaks down and blows the coolant line and you're on the side of the road. This car will randomly puff smoke on cold start. It may not do it for a whole month. But what'll get it to do it every time is you'll start it up, back out of here, turn it off. Start it up, pull it back in, turn it off. And once you start doing that on a flat 6, it'll start smoking, start dripping down the cylinder. But we bore scoped everything, everything's good. The air oil separator is still original one. Probably need to throw another one of those on there. I can't complain though. The PASM suspension on this thing is by far light years better. My red Cayman with no PASM suspension was somewhere in the middle of this. Somewhere in the middle of the hard setting and the soft setting on this. But this car, driving on the interstate, we're going to drive to St. Louis, a couple hours away. You can drive on the interstate, put the cruise on, put it on soft, on suspension on soft, and it's just quiet. It's nice, and it's a real good cruiser. There's not a lot of cars that are this kind of track car, and you can say that about. I don't know of any. None at all. You know, all the stuff we had through here, nothing was as comfortable as drive as the Caymans. That's why when we had the G-Wagon and all the M5s and all the other stuff here, I'd find myself going back to the Cayman all the time. We live in a pretty curvy part of the United States, and to have the Porsche in this part of the United States is pretty good. If you're somewhere where everything's flat, I don't know if it really serves a purpose other than fuel mileage, but everything else around here gets 7-8 miles a gallon. This thing's getting like 29. And that's the whole catch of it. You could actually use the car, and that's what everybody says. Now, you go to the track, most of the stuff there is Porsches. They drive it to the track, they race it all day, and drive it home. And cars that are not that, they're not Porsches, got to be trailered. They brake constantly. Not all cars, but, you know, a lot of cars. And that's kind of the catch-22 of it. But right now is the time, guys. Right now is the time to start looking. I really, truly think that. But be warned, they don't give them away. Any Porsche is expensive. Every Porsche is expensive. And if it's not, you probably don't want it. But that's it, guys. First video back. We'll probably do some more videos like this. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. And we'll see y'all very soon.